So if you're curious what happened to the housing market, I have an explanation. I used to build houses. One thing I know about is how much the difference is between it costs to build a house and how much that house is valued at. Most of the houses that I've ever built could be built with roughly $2,000 prices, around $20,000 to $40,000 worth of materials total. Most of this stuff doesn't cost as much when you buy in bulk. Now, once that house has been built for, say, $20,000, we get to what's called the American business model. Now, the American business model says that if you buy product A for $1, the American business model is to sell product A for $3. So using the American business model, let's say the house costs $20,000 worth of lumber, nails, shingle, concrete, and materials, not including labor costs. You include the labor costs in the total for calculating how much it costs in the end. So a house that costs $20,000 plus the cost of labor varies from place to place. Minimum $60,000. American business model, right? Product A costs $20,000 to make, to produce. So you sell product A for 3 times that. Got it? Makes sense. So you could buy a fairly good-sized house. And let me tell you, $50,000 worth of building materials for 2006 prices is a lot. A lot of stuff. The problem is, once these houses are built, their value increases and decreases upon a number of factors, one of which is how they are resold. What happened to your housing market, kids, is during the early 2000s, when the boomers were getting into power and making rules that they wanted to suit them, they started buying all the houses. All the ones that were already available. $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 homes. Buy them as much as you can, up to a limit. You don't want to spend too much on your return, because they weren't buying the houses for them to keep or them to live in, not for anybody who worked in the company or any of that. Most of them actually had rules to prevent them from being able to do just that. Set up a corporation to buy a dozen houses to live across the country, wherever you. Who cares if you do that? The problem is they bought all these houses specifically to flip. You buy a product A for $40,000 or $50,000. You sell product A at $120,000 or $150,000. You're starting to see where the market went on housing. These houses are still not worth the more than $60,000 they were at the time they were sold to begin with. And most of those, from a guy who's also done rehab, most of those don't hold that value. The structure weakens. Look into how long concrete lasts. 100 years is pretty much your guarantee, and then you better start to worry about upkeep. Wood has got to be maintained and treated properly before it can be used for building. There's a list of things that go wrong with a house. So they're not worth as much as they're being sold for. But, in order to make more money, I'll sound like the internet, I really fucking will. The boomer generation, when they got into positions of control and power, did the same thing with the housing market that they had done to everything else. How many of you kids out there, when you talk to your grandparents or great-grandparents, the first thing out of your mouth when you tell them that you found a new hobby is, can you make money at that? Fucking boomers monetized everything. Jacked up the prices on housing, and now y'all can't afford shit. Have a nice day.